There's work, of course, to work through exactly how the synergies of this deal are going to weigh out. But the top line is that at the end of the day, despite it being a attractive, compelling, large deal, by far the largest one IBM has ever done, it doesn't solve the core problem that IBM has, or even really make a lot of progress in solving that problem, which is that IBM still has about 40% of revenues in structurally declining areas of enterprise IT, areas that are not coming back. They can extend the trend on those areas, but collectively that group of its revenues, this is its on-premise licensed software, its traditional data center outsourcing, its hardware maintenance, it's over 20 billion in revenues, closer to 25 billion, and it's collectively declining 8%, not coming back. That's the issue. And Red Hat, as much as it helps reposition the cloud portfolio and push more, more of the business into that place, only moves the needle slightly, right? It only adds less than 4% to their top line.
Amit, Lisa makes a compelling point, but I'm reminded of Microsoft and Satya Nadella coming in there. It's not like the math changed that much overnight, but the sentiment changed dramatically because the story changed. Is this a story change moment for IBM? How long before we know for sure?
Yeah, absolutely. Listen, this deal has the potential, I think, to recast IBM from being an old legacy anchored company to something that's more tied to the customer narrative of moving more to hybrid and off-premise solutions, right? So I do think fundamentally this can completely recast the IBM narrative. It can transform the story. How soon would you know it? I think the deal doesn't close till mid-2019, so 12 to 18 months from here, I think you start to see the fruits of this transaction. But I do think they're making a bold and transformative deal to move into the right direction, to go where the puck is going right now.
Lisa, IBM's culture is a storied one, and we look at companies that are used to doing big deals and either integrating them or leaving them alone. They sort of have reflexes when it comes to that. I'm not sure IBM has the reflexes to deal with this, and I've got questions about how this massive IBM sales force goes to market now with Red Hat, which product is for whom, say in middleware. Is that an issue that we need to be concerned about?
Absolutely. In fact, that's the top issue. And if you listen to their call today, the majority of the questions on the call were coming at that question different ways, because the challenge is, on one hand, by far the biggest synergy from this deal should be the ability to leverage the massive IBM sales and distribution engine. On the other hand, Red Hat is, by its very nature, Switzerland. It's an agnostic offering. It has major partnerships with IBM's competitors in cloud, AWS, Google, Microsoft Azure. So it's, the company is trying to walk a very careful line, saying, well, we're not really going to integrate Red Hat. We're going to leave it standalone. We're going to maintain all those partnerships with those other players. But at the same time, we're going to get all these revenue synergies from selling it through a distribution engine. And, the devil's in the details of, like, which one is that really, which is it going to be?
Yeah. I mean, we've been asking people all morning why Red Hat's not trading closer to 190. What do people doubt?
I would say two things. One, again, the deal doesn't close for about 9-12 months from here, so there's a bit of a time lag you have. The second is there's always fear on these larger transactions on China approval, on MoffCom approval, if you may. And I think those are two kind of pushbacks or questions we've seen on why the deal is trading at a discount, why the stock's trading at a discount. On China, our understanding, if you look at the threshold, we don't think IBM needs MoffCom approval or China approval to get the deal done.
Lisa, I'm going to put the same question to you that I raised with Josh Lipton on our show earlier this hour. Is this going to spur more deal making? More broadly.
Yeah, that's a good question. It may. Certainly, where we've been looking for more deal making potentially is in the services space. Because as IBM highlighted, and part of the impetus of this deal now is that cloud and digital as well are sort of moving out of the early phase and into the steep part of the S-curve. They're beyond that first 20% of adoption, which was more CIOs trying it out, the technologies, and they're going to full-scale adoption. And when you move in that zone, all of a sudden maybe these smaller companies suddenly need enormous scale. It's the right time. So we're looking for that, not just on the software side, but actually also on the services side. That's actually another area I think it would be interesting for IBM to look at an acquisition, would be on the services side to boost their services capabilities around cloud and digital.
I mean, along those lines, one of the themes I see emerging this year is multi-cloud and how to manage it. I mean, we saw it with Microsoft launching this open data initiative with Adobe and SAP about a month ago. We see it with Salesforce MuleSoft, kind of deal with the multiple clouds. How do you think this plays out in that, does it take big customers choosing a multi-cloud strategy, saying, hey, we want open data, or we're going to go with a provider who can let us play in all these spaces? But before we see who ends up winning from this talk about, hey, you don't want vendor lock-in, choose our solution for flexibility.
I mean, this is a big tenet of why they're going after the Red Hat deal, right? Is I think enterprise customers, especially as you get into what Jeannie would call chapter 2 of this narrative, they need not to be locked in, right? They want to ensure they're not locked into an Amazon or Microsoft or Google at this point. So anything they can offer them flexibility to jump across different infrastructures becomes extremely crucial. Red Hat is one of the few entities that can enable you to do that. So I do think for larger enterprises, avoiding lock-in, avoiding all the bad stories from Oracle you've heard before, is very, very important over here.